Hello, Pastor Hannah. So, God told me to do this a while ago, but I wasn't comfortable doing it because I said, Pastor Hannah's busy. He's not going to get a chance to look at this video, but God keeps telling me to do this. So I need to be obedient. And I told him, I said, give me until Sunday. I'll send this to him by Sunday. So here he is Saturday. So I'm not going to take up much of your time, but this is a testimony because I want to thank you for the Unusual series. But I need to tell you how this journey started. Okay, so this is my husband, Marcellus. So Marcellus and I, for the most part, we attend 11:30 service. So this particular day, we were at odds, and I went to 9:30 without him. He was here, and I went to 9:30. So my mind was all over the place. My mind was thinking about what had went on with me and Marcellus, with Marcellus and I. So there was this lady that opened up the sermon. I'm sorry, not the sermon, the service. And she said something key that related to me. She said something like, help help us to focus on you. So it was the way she said it, and it was like exactly what I needed. So I was like, man, who is this lady? So maybe two Sundays after that, I had to find out who this lady was because I felt that I was in need of counseling. And I said, maybe this is the lady that I should be talking to. So I found her, and her name is Tonette. And when I went to talk to her, I said, do you do you counsel? And she said no, and she kind of laughed. And I said, well, I really need to talk to somebody. And when I said that to her, I was about to cry right then because I was holding so much in. And she said, you know what? Meet me at the tabernacle Saturday at 9 o'clock. So I said, okay. And that was it. So I'm thinking, okay, so she's going to find somebody to partner me up with that I could talk to. Or maybe she had time to talk to me on that Saturday. So I didn't know that it was a love sister to sister meeting. I had never attended one before, but I was so blessed by that meeting. And I felt broken before I went. And through this meeting, the Love Sister to Sister meeting, I realized that everything that I needed to help repair me was already in me. And I could find solutions through the Word. So I was blown away. And then they played this song, Wonder. Oh, I love that song. So I even shared that with my mother-in-law. But anyway, that song was awesome. The message was awesome. So I walked away definitely not feeling the same. Okay. So then I may get the order wrong, but you had a service on coming back when you demonstrated how when you first get with somebody, you're on the phone all night. And I said, I'm not the same with God that I was before because I used to crave his word. And I remember exactly when it was when I was working on my bachelor's degree. And God told me then, throw away all your secular music. So I did that, and I had a great relationship with God. I don't know what happened, but we separated. So after your sermon, I said, I need to spend more time with God every day. So every morning I've been getting up reading, spending time with God. Okay. So then you had the unusual. And I was stumped because I was a CPS teacher up until November. Total breakdown. I almost lost it mentally. So I had to separate. And through this separation, I've gotten closer to God. And when you had the sermon about your ministry is your misery, I said, oh no, God, are you telling me to go back into the classroom? Because that's the last thing that I want to do. So normally when I walk away from your sermons, I feel like, oh, okay, I got the answer. But this calling, that had me stumped. So then you had the unusual, sorry, I took notes so I wouldn't linger. Come on back, spending time. The unusual. Okay. My calling stumped me. Marcellus. So, Marcellus told me this time next month, we were looking for an apartment. Marcellus said this time next month, we're going to find a 4-bedroom apartment. And I looked at him like, right. Okay. But then my second thought was, if God told him this, then it's going to happen. So we're looking on the different websites, and I find this 4-bedroom. And I said, and it's reasonable. So normally, when you see the really nice things, they say what credit score they want you to have. And this one said none of that. And to recognize if it's a scam, they said it will be misspellings and different things like that. So I called the lady, and when I spoke to her, I said, oh, she's a foreigner. Okay. So usually, like, I don't even like watching movies with, I'm not a bad person, but I don't like watching movies with people with accents because I can't really understand them. And then you had this sermon about how the most unusual person is going to bless you. Okay. So we got in to see the place, and it was on a Sunday. And this was the sermon when you said, it was random. You said, get in the tub and make sure everybody fits. So when you said that, I looked at Marcellus and we kind of laughed. So right after church, we went to see the place. Beautiful. 4 bedrooms, everything new in the whole building. So everybody that's going to be in the building they're new. So I asked the man that showed us the property, I said, what's the process? So he said, call Helen. Helen is the lady that I spoke with to get the information. So when I reached out to Helen, she told me what we needed. Credit score, W-2s, yada, yada, yada. So I said, oh, goodness, that credit score, because we're both under 600. So I sent her the information and nothing. It was silent. She didn't respond. So I'm thinking, okay, well, no news is good news. And this was also the time when you would frequently say, delay does not mean denial. Okay. So we finally get a call from Helen. And she said, I want you to come to my house. So I looked at Marcellus and I was like, that's weird. She wants us to go to her house? So come to find out, she lives on the next block from where this building is. So we went there. She's an Asian lady. I don't know if I said that. And she said, I just want to get a feel for who's going to be in the building. So she starts filling out the lease, and me and Marcellus are looking at each other like, okay. And she said, but I got everything, but I didn't get your credit score. And I said, because what I did was I sent her a screenshot of the Credit Karma scores. And she said she didn't get it, but she was still continuing to fill out this lease. So she got down to the security deposit, and she said, we need $1,600. So I looked at Marcellus, and he looked at me, and I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. So I'm thinking, who can I borrow $1,600 from? And that's crazy. Who's just gonna loan you $1,600? So we went back to look at the building and signed lease. Didn't give her the money yet because she said we could quick pay her. So before we left the area, I was uncomfortable, and Marcella said, "I'll go talk to her." So I said, "Okay." So we went back, and he came to the car, and she said we could pay in installments, 500 this week, 500 next week until the deposit is paid. So I said, "Yay, okay." So he said we have until the end of this week. So we're planning about this for this place and everything. And then Thursday rolls around and she sends me this text. And she said, I didn't get the security deposit, so the lease is no longer valid. We were crushed. And our spirit was, needless to say, it was messed up. So that day after, I was angry. I mean, I was so hard. My heart was so hard. I took the New Life tag off the mirror because I was like, I'm not worthy of having this in the car right now because of the way I'm feeling. And Marcellus was angry, and he would just send me text messages throughout the day, like, asking me questions about why would she do this. And okay, so I reached out to her 2 times after that. In the last message, I said, please don't block our blessing. I said, we're good people. We have great families. Just please don't do this to us. So she didn't respond. So prior to her not responding the final time, I would try to show Marcellus other places, and he said no, because God told me, why would I look at other places if I prayed about this one? So I said, okay. So through this process, Travis Green's song came on. I was in the car going to pick up the girls, and You Made a Way came on. So I changed the words when I was singing the song. I said, you're going to make a way. I don't know how, but you're going to do it. And I told Marcellus that day that we were upset, I said, you know what? We need to fast. And he called me and he said, why? I said, because we didn't handle this right. I said, I'm sure God is disappointed in our response. So we fasted. A week or so later, random, I get this text from her. She said, can you have $500 by Friday? So I reached out to Marcellus and I said, you will never guess who just texted me. And he said, Helen. I said, yes. And he said, what did she say? I said, she asked me if we would have 500 by Friday. He said, well, I'm going to leave this up to you. You make the decision. So I said, well, yes, I want to do it. So I told her, you know what? We'll have $1,600 today. So I sent her the money and she said, okay. We're waiting for final inspections because this was a rehab. The building, they rehabbed the Greystone. So the city had to come out and inspect it. So that process was lengthy. And let's see, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so prior to her reaching out to us, I'm sorry for jumping around. Prior to her reaching out to us was the Unity service, and you said towards the end, delay does not mean denial. I said, I wonder if that's for us. So, when you say random things like you'll say, I didn't say this in my other services. Marcellus and I would joke, and we would say, he only said that because we're here. He's talking to us. But I want you to know how much we were blessed through this whole unusual series, we have gotten closer to God, and we have truly been blessed in unusual ways. And when I mentioned Helen in her accent, Marcella said, the pastor said that we will be blessed by someone we wouldn't expect. So it's unusual that an Asian lives in the Grand Boulevard area. It's unusual. And that the landlord was really looking for quality people, and it wasn't based on numbers. That was unusual because we thought that was going to cancel us out. 4 bedrooms for the amount that we're paying. Unusual. Brand new everything. Unusual. My son's godfather lives on the other block. He's a police officer. Unusual. So he lives on 49th. We're on 48th. And the landlord is on 47th. So the whole series, I just want to thank you. And you mentioned also in the Unity service that, well, maybe you didn't say this, but we got the vibe that you don't feel appreciated. So I want you to know that you are very appreciated. And I want to thank you for following God's lead. And I also stumbled upon Periscope. Wonderful. I haven't made it to a 4 o'clock a.m. prayer yet, but I see that it's listed on there. I like how you break down different things. I'm still kind of stuck on the calling. I know that God is telling me to write a book, to encourage other teachers that may be going through difficult times, just to tell them, hey, hang in there. It's not easy. But then I thought he was telling me to start my own catering business. And then I thought, well, maybe he's telling me to go back in the classroom. I don't want to go back in the classroom. I would like to stay in the field of education because my master's is in curriculum and instruction. So I don't want to stray too far from that. I do have a passion for education. That I do. But in the classroom, I'm not sure. But if God tells me to do it, I'll do it. But I don't want to go back in the classroom. So I'm still kind of figuring that part out. But just thank you. So I wanted you to know how much you're a blessing to us. And side note, last Sunday you were making a joke about the iPhone, Android, how Mrs. Hannah returned her iPhone. I have an iPhone, and Marcellus has an Android. And he said, after you made that funny comment, he said, well, it's the Apple that started this mess. And I said, oh, I'm going to tell Pastor Hannah. And we just laughed about that. But anyway, thank you for watching this. And I just want you to know how much you are a blessing to us, to Marcellus and myself. So thank you.